Welcome to day 4 of Watches and Wonders. It's time to dive into the world of watchmaking. Good morning and welcome to Watches and Wonders 2023. I'm Olivia Kinghorst. Every morning I'll be here at 9:30 a.m. to guide you through the day ahead. Here in the morning show, it's really where we get to sit down with CEOs, dive into new timepieces, plus show you around the salon. Speaking of the day ahead, don't forget, Geneva comes to life tonight with an evening of festivities for Watches and Wonders. We'll be sharing more details later on in the show. So it's an exciting program ahead, and as we like to say, time is ticking. So with that, let's kick off the morning show. It was a big day for sporting stars yesterday, so let's take a look now at all the brand announcements and highlights, all from day 3.
This was day 3 of Watches and Wonders Geneva. I hope you're ready because today we got to meet some of the biggest stars in the car racing and Olympics world. We even got to dive deeper into the brands they represent.
I am so excited to be at Watches and Wonders. It's so much fun. It's my first time here.
Eileen Gu is the youngest Olympic champion in freestyle skiing after winning gold and silver medals at the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. Watches and Wonders definitely surpassed her expectations.
People were telling me kind of beforehand that the atmosphere was similar to that of like Fashion Week, but for watches. Personally, I think it's so different because you're coming in and instead of just seeing the final product presented in an art piece, the way that I see fashion shows, you kind of get more of the behind the scenes. You get the history, you get the pressure testing and the time testing and the augmented reality where you get to see like tiny little pieces moving. So I feel like you get a much deeper understanding of the watch and an appreciation for the precision.
We then met with Jackie X, a longtime ambassador for Chopard. Hi, very nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
A Belgian former race driver during the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He won the 24 Hours of Le Mans 6 times and achieved 8 wins and 25 podium finishes in Formula 1.
Well, clearly, when you're talking about Chopard, you speak about a family. There is a strong relation between motorsport and the watches because we are talking about the time running. And also it represents the people behind the curtain who make the success of the company in a way.
It's not about the design, it's about the story.
It's about, yes, and the tradition, of course.
Watchmaking is even about the causes they pursue, such as the Watches and Jewelry initiative created by Cartier and Kering.
No one can work alone, and sharing best practices and implementing together is the only way to make a difference and really to protect our planet, but also to take care of people.
A commitment to the key sustainable goals in building climate resilience, preserving resources, and fostering inclusiveness. During the past year, Chanel and other major companies joined the cause.
There is a duty, there is an obligation from that perspective also to contribute to society. And one thing that really struck me in the past is that we may not be the largest companies in the world, but certainly in terms of brand equity and influence, we also can make a difference.
We are ready to talk and to work in the same direction.
The end of a chapter, but definitely not the end of the story. Stay tuned because next time we won't be here at the salon, but actually outside and in the city. Watches and Wonders has prepared a special program just for the local community. Stay tuned.
And the story continues. It's now time to take a view from the top and see what CEOs have to say for the year ahead. So you're getting a round of applause. I love the energy from the crowd here.
Great crowd here.
Benjamin, welcome to the show. Welcome
morning,
again.
Olivia. How are you?
Came here a little bit early, enjoyed a coffee, and now I see you're refreshed and awake.
Really much awake. Thank you for welcoming us.
Well, now that we have all this energy, let's dive into the first question. You came on board at Piaget right in the middle of the pandemic, and we spoke about this before. Now that you have been CEO for nearly 2 years, what would you say your experience has been guiding the ship, navigating the Maison?
Already 2 years, huh? Time flies at Piaget. The level of culture, of patrimony is so strong, so it takes time to discover all the craftsmanship of the people that are doing there and the fighting spirit they had during the pandemic. What we try to do here in the last 2 years is to give a creative language, a common creative language between all our product lines. We have watches with the Polo collection, obviously. We have jewelry with the Possession collection, but as well the high jewelry. And to do that as well on communication, on the boutique side, on the comments, to have a common language reflecting the DNA of the brand.
So, speaking of language, one word you love to use, extravaganza. That's a word we often hear. And tell our audience here, and also for the audience watching at home, what does this mean?
This word is Maison of Extravaganza. Maison is for Piaget, which is based on openness, on welcoming, on conviviality, but as well on craftsmanship. And extravaganza is a combination of two words, extravagance and elegance. This is the motto of Piaget from its culture, its origin in La Côte aux Fées, in the Swiss mountains, where the culture of excellence of craftsmanship became, and as well the culture of exuberance, flamboyance that comes from its settlement in the Côte d'Azur. So we say, Mr. Piaget says, from Côte aux Fées to Côte d'Azur, and that's illustrated.
We hear this a lot.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now we've got Watches and Wonders. We're at the halfway mark, but tell our audience now, what was your approach coming into this event this year?
Halfway mark already? How good.
I know, time flies.
Time flies. Yeah, our booth is about our storytelling of craftsmanship, of gold, the opal as well at the end of the booth. That's the favorite stone of the house, so vibrant and vivid, like a piece of modern art, and as well all our collections. To remain the full culture of Piaget, from obviously the peppermint calendar from on the Polo side, the new what we call swinging sautoir, which is those necklace we did a lot in the 70s and 80s that give time, or the re-edition of 10 Andy Warhol watch, the watch that was worn by Andy Warhol in the past for a private customer that give us the right to show them here in Watch and Wonders.
So coming up, there's going to be something very special, a big milestone. I'm talking, of course, about the 150th anniversary. How will you be celebrating this?
Oh, we're working on it. It's next year. It's a great milestone for the company to try to have a firework of all the culture and showcase all the culture and to know how the company. So we're working on it. I'll be able to tell you more next year when we at the same time.
Okay, we have to stay tuned because I feel like there are some surprises there. Benjamin, thank you so much, and I hope you have an extravaganza morning.
Thank you very much. Yeah, will do. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Now, there is a lot of excitement and energy here in the studio. We see CEOs high-fiving each other, already catching up beforehand. So, Patrick Pugnot, welcome to the show, CEO of Ulysse Nardin. Independence, a big talking point, not only last year, but I'd like to carry on the theme this year as well. How have you fared from this new structure?
It's actually, good morning. It's actually very exciting. Obviously, we became independent last year. It's been a little bit more than a year now. Having said that, we were used to autonomy. We're very lucky to be part of the Kering group. But independence is freedom, and it's also a slightly different view on a business. I must say, more than ever, we have a very long-term view on the brand. Ulysse Nardin and Gérard Prego, and actually, in both cases, you know, the brands have been around for almost 2 centuries. So we are very privileged. We feel very privileged to look after them now, and we have to make sure they're going to be around for a long time.
You mentioned long term. That's the freedom and independence. It gives you the ability to think longer term. So what do we have there? What can we expect in terms of breakthrough, innovation?
Well, I mean, as you know, I mean, Ulysse Nardin has been very famous for innovation and for having a R&D department that would come up with new materials, new movement. So on average, we've been launching 2 new movements per year over the last 20 years. And you should expect to see exactly the same going on for the next, at least 10 years. After that, I can't tell you.
That is incredible pace.
Yes. And very often it's going to be one of the ideology movement and one which is a little bit more core range movement.
It's a big vision you have outlined ahead. I'm wondering, what are going to be the steps to take you there? How do you think you can reach that point?
I mean, we focus a lot on the existing collections. I mean, this year we're launching here at Watches and Wonder a new Freak. The Freak is an interesting watch because it's a watch that was launched actually a little bit more than 20 years ago. So it was one of the watches that actually shaped contemporary watchmaking at the end of the 90s, beginning of the year 2000. Ulysse Nardin with the Freak, a couple of other independent brands. I mean, masterminded that move that reinvented the watch. And what you should expect to see from us is like the same way we launched a double theater watch last year, this year a new Freak, and you should expect to see more and more of those movements.
We will actually be taking a look at that later on in our timepiece talk, so it's good that you didn't share too many details there. A quick question though. So Ludwig Oechlin, the genius behind the 2001 Freak, as I understand, he's actually at the event.
The genius is back.
The genius is back.
Yeah.
Genius returns.
Yeah, and Ludwig would qualify very well as a genius as well, also as a freak. He's a very interesting character.
He embodies the freak
and
mentality.
I think you would take that as a compliment. I hope so. But that is here. He's actually here today. He's meeting with a couple of our clients and partners. But also, you know, Ludwig works very closely with us and is now also reinventing some of the watches that are going to be launched in a couple of years from now.
Okay, so if you are at Watches and Wonders, make sure to stop by because you might catch a genius in person. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Hello and welcome to the Morning Show, Julien.
Morning, Olivia. How are you?
Hi, CEO of Zenith. You have a big company under your hands. So I want to start with the big three letters, CSR, or Corporate Social Responsibility. That's on the forefront of many CEOs' minds. What's at the top of your mind?
Of course, you know, you have to be responsible as a leader of a company, and for such a company, you have to take concrete actions. And it's a lot about concrete, you know, because everybody say we do things, but first, what do you do inside your company? And starting from there, we took a lot of actions to improve many things at Zenith.
So you actually have a dedicated CSR team. What are they focusing in particular at the moment?
We have an initiative called Zenith Horizon, under which we have three main pillars. One is, of course, sustainability. One is inclusion, diversity, women empowerment. And the third one is employee well-being. And again here, in each of those pillars, we took concrete actions inside before starting to also add the collaboration and partnership with external partners.
So let's dive into that because you talked about partnerships, collaborations. Tell us some of the key ones that you have actually launched. There are so many, so I'll let you take your pick of your favorite initiative.
Yes, of course. You know, cars and watches have always been together, and for 25 years, I mean, there have been many partnership and comparison. Absolutely. And we decided a few years ago to change this and to take a different angle. So we started a partnership with Extreme E, which is about e-SUVs racing using only electric cars and having teams of one man, one woman, so very gender equality as well. And that's been a fantastic partnership because we contribute to the promotion of electric cars. So still we get this car watch vibe, but in a different way.
Can we touch also a little bit about the Dreamers program or Dream Hers?
Sure. You know, the brand's motto is time to reach your star. It's been since our founder, the philosophy of the brand. And we wanted to create a platform called Dream Hers, where women are basically explaining how they reach their own star in specific fields, often fields in which men had advantage, you know, to perform in the past. And it's very important to show that women have been doing incredible things.
Well, two incredibly big initiatives. Let's see what you have in store for next year. Final question to you. Tell us what is an ambitious initiative that you would like to see under your leadership in the future? What is something that you would like to execute and have to your name?
Yes, I think there are quite a few things we have in the pipe. You know, we also celebrate our 160th anniversary in 2 years, so it's going to be about innovation.
Another big party.
Absolutely, a big party like the one we had yesterday. But it's also the opportunity to take more initiatives, more ideas into this CSR and Zenith Horizon umbrella. So I'll tell you more next year, but we have a lot in the pipe.
Okay, you're making us curious now. Thank you so much for joining us
Have
this
a great
morning.
day. Thank you.
You too. Take care. Now, of course, you know, it's time for us to bring you a closer look inside the salon. Our reporter, Ariana Kota, is giving us a little bit of a glimpse into the independent maisons.
Thank you, Olivia. We are currently at the Carré des Horlogers, and here is where we can find the smaller brands. Some of these were born just a few years ago, and others like Ferdinand Berthaud have been here for a while now. We have the president of the brand, Monsieur Karl Friedrich Schäufele. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, I think you're a great representation of both major brands and small brands. So can we talk a little bit about what else we can find here?
Well, here at the Carré des Horlogers, as the name says, you will find the smaller watchmakers, smaller brands, which some of them started not too long ago, and they're very audacious, risk-taking, and lots of innovation. So it's a very exciting and passionate environment. And for Berthaud, we're very happy to be here as well. Now, Berthaud was born in the 1800s, but revived in our case in 2015. And I think it's a wonderful positioning for these young, or less young brands, close to the most beautiful brands in the watch industry. We get a lot of recognition, a lot of visibility, and especially this year, I think I can say it has been a very good addition.
Yes, no, and like you said, a lot of innovation in here. I feel like they're taking a bold move in their designs and their approach. So definitely a fresh breeze from what we were already used to. I saw, well, Rebellion, for example, and Trilobe, which are brands that were born not long ago, yes, like you said, and now I saw Ronaldinho becoming the ambassador of one of those brands. So it is remarkable, despite the risk-taking, like you were just mentioning, how much they've been growing. Well, thank you so much, Monsieur Schäufele.
You're welcome. Most welcome.
Great time, and thank you for your time here. Now, please. We also need to take into account that there is another place across the hallway called La Place, where we can find the 9 new brands participating for the first time at Watches and Wonders 2023. Some of them are Frédéric Constant and Alpine Watches. Back to you, Olivia.
To stay with us for Timepiece Talk, where we get up close and personal with the watches. Well, you know what time it is. It's time for Timepiece Talk, where we get a deeper dive into all the latest novelties that we've been discussing on the show. Now, if you don't know these experts by now, let me refresh your memory. Gianfranco Ritchell, Joanna Langer, Carson Chang. They're frequent faces on the show, so you won't forget them by the end of the week. Now, Gianfranco, you have the honors of presenting today. I see that you have all the watches lined up and ready. So why don't you start with the first one from Arnold & Son? It's a very limited edition, 88 pieces. Where do you take it from here?
Yes, good idea to start with this beautiful round ultra-thin tourbillon from Arnold & Son, which is in a case of 41.5 millimeter diameter. And showing on the upper side, you recognize this wide dial, which is made of a genuine white opal, showing hours and minutes. And then the lower side of this open work dial, we have the beautiful flying tourbillon, which really celebrates the quest of accuracy of this famous watchmaker. And the heritage of this quest, you can recognize it in having a closer look on the flying tourbillon cage. And you recognize surely this anchor and the sextant, 2 essential elements to navigate and steer your boat to the harbor. And on the back side, mechanical hand-one movement having 100-hour power reserve and you are surely looking what happens on the lower side of your dial or of your screen. That's the hand-engraved yellow gold bridge, which is engraved with the same patterns like we found on Arnoldson pocket watches. And only 88 captains will drive or navigate through their life with this watch here, as it's limited to this quantity.
So, Gianfranco, I understand for the next piece, you're pretty good with languages, is that correct? That's what you like to say? Let me
right.
put it to the test, okay? The next piece is from Charles Zuber, and the name is Perfos Kal. What does that mean in Greek?
In Greek, that's not my best language, but I heard it calls it's through the light.
You've done your research.
Of course. And obviously you recognize immediately why this name, as this watch here has a skeletonized dark gray movement, which is skeletonized by a famous watchmaker, Cedric Yoner. But the most interesting are these 48 saffron color baguette sapphires, highlighting and giving a beautiful warm color to this watch. And if you have a closer look at the design, you see how these 60-minute indexes gives a kind of strong tension between the center, the circular part in the center, and this original case design, this kind of cushion design outside. And even on the backside, you recognize this micro rotor here, giving the power for the mechanical movement, which from the front side, you see it's even set with same colored orange sapphires to sparkle on every little movement on your wrist. And even this one, it's limited for only 8 lucky owners.
So, third piece you have in your hand. Let's bring up the one from Piaget.
Yes.
Walk us through this one.
Yeah, Piaget Polo Perpetual Calendar Ultra Thin, which has a diameter of 42 millimeters and only 8.65 millimeter thin. It's really a beauty, celebrating astronomy on your wrist. This watch is interesting because you have this stone dials, which is one of the specialities of Piaget, combined with the noble, prestigious complication like the Perpetual Calendar, and then the lower side of the dial recognize this little moon phase doing the link. And outside, you have this beautiful blue sapphire highlighting the two shapes, the cushion-shaped dial combined with this perfectly round bezel. That's the playful way to design watches in Piaget. And by the way, here too, we have a micro rotor colored in blue, remembering the dark nights in the sky.
It really does look like they're suspended, and I think that's what they're trying to go for, correct?
Absolutely, and even here, limited, 18 pieces only.
Okay, well, it seems that there's only going to be very few lucky pieces to get their hands on these pieces. I'd like to move on now to the next one, Roger Dupuis, Joanna. Yes, this one is very special. I don't know if you want to give it away, but it's something to do with the UV light, if you have one at hand.
Yes, of course. So this is the Roger Dupuis Excalibur Black Light Spin Stone Mono Balancier. So we see on the bezel and the flange, and even in this very famous star from the Excalibur collection, we have these spin stones, which have a special cut of stone, which is a patent for Roger Dupuis, the kind of cut here. And they're ranging in color from red to blue, these spindles, which are lab grown and have this very special coating, the super luminova coating, which you clearly indicated. And this is all housed within the beautiful 42 millimeter case in Eon Gold. So we can see this brings a lot of color to our life during the day. However, Gianfranco, maybe you can show us.
I know he's got something special up his sleeve.
If we're partying at night, of course, we need to also be able to bring that vibrancy. And just showing with this light, we can see that this is really salon-proof for this week. And on our weekends, we can definitely wear this timepiece. However, it's not just a pretty face. So this self-winding micro-rotor caliber fits the very strict conditions of the Poinçon de Genève. And again, you have to be quick with this one. Only 28 lucky owners will be able to sport this timepiece.
Seems like this one is perfect for the festivities tonight out in the city in Geneva. quick reminder to the audience there. Now, the next one from U-Boat. This is a capsule watch. Where does the inspiration come from?
So this is taking us also away from the salon, away from our lives, down underwater this time. We're thinking Jules Verne, submarines. We're thinking steampunk aesthetics, or perhaps the depth gauges that we know from the 30s. So all inspirations for this 50 millimeter titanium case timepiece. So titanium, of course, grade 5 titanium, which is used also on submarines. So we have at the 10 o'clock position a patent for the crown release system. You cannot miss it there on the left-hand side of the case. And the domed sapphire is acting like a magnifying glass to all the features we have on this darkened dial. So we have a date indication. We also have a day and night. So if you're in a submarine, of course, you're going to lose time, perhaps, of the day and night, of the date. Sounds familiar, right?
If you're in a submarine.
Yeah, so it's maybe people can relate to this. Even being this week on during the Watches and Wonders fair, we get this impression also. So again, limited edition. So you have to
There is a running theme here today.
Definitely.
I think the key word is limited. Now, the next one from Ulysse Nardin. Gianfranco, why don't you hold it up for our audience to see? Joanna, why is he showing me a historical watch?
Oh, wrong year. No. We're going back to the very first launch of the Freak from Ulysse Nardin. That was in 2001. We're really happy to have this original timepiece there. And in the years that have followed, actually there have been 20 patents filed on this one collection. So we cannot go through all the details of those 20 patents this morning. However, we have the Freak edition new for 2023. Let's just remind ourselves of the Freak. We see here it's a very different way of telling the time. So you have the linear formation of the movement, actually rotating the dial in a carousel fashion once every 60 minutes. So this is very practical to have the minute indication there. And the hour indication is indicated by a triangle on a sun ray finished disc, which is actually underneath the movement. So this is clearly showing, it's actually very legible and easy to read when you know how. And this, of course, it was the first timepiece using silicon escapement back in 2001. So we see a lot of the parts of the escapement still in silicon today, and even the very special diamond sill, which is very specific for Ulysse Nardin.
So, Carson, we didn't forget about you because you have two incredible watches to present. First one from Van Cleef & Arpels, and I'm instantly drawn to how sparkly it is.
Yes, you're right. We are looking at a Van Cleef & Arpels Ludo's secret watch. Now, before we dive into what is secret about it, let me give you a little bit of a history lesson. In the 18th century, women...
1 minute history lesson.
1 minute. In the 18th century, women were not supposed to read time in the public, so it was considered to be impolite. At that time, jewelers and watchmakers came up with a solution, and they made something called a secret watch. So what is in Gianfranco's hand is the newest edition from Van Cleef. This is the Ludo secret watch, and the name came from one of the founding family member, Louis Louis Arpels. So this was created in 1934, and this watch, if Gianfranco can help us squeeze the two circular part to show how to read the time, you can open up and look at that. If you didn't know it, you would not know it's actually a watch. When you squeeze it again, you can see the dial is made in mother of pearl with guilloche. Beautiful, excellent workmanship into it. And this watch is made in 18 karat paint gold with 193 diamond, over 8 carats of diamonds there. Fantastic piece.
This is a great story to tell over dinner, I can imagine.
Yeah. So again, it's very elegant. It could be served as a bracelet or a watch.
Okay, final piece we have to get to is the one from Zenith. What can you tell us there?
So Zenith, we are looking at the Zenith Pilot Big Date Flyback. As the name suggests, it is a pilot watch, it is big date, and a flyback chronograph. So the watch is housed in a black case. The black is actually a matte black ceramic case. It is done in a microblasted way, so that you have this matte surface looking. And the watch has a luminescent dial that you can see the hand and the indexes. If Gianfranco can show us the activation of the chrono, you will see the watch is housed with a very famous El Primero movement, which is the first 36,000 beat per hour. This is a high beat chronograph. If we can show the back of the case, we can see it is an automatic, and you see the automatic winding rotor. As Gianfranco moves, it seems like it is a flying level gauge. So this is a very interesting piece, and each watch comes with 2 straps. Of course, to make it easy, you have an interchangeable system with no tools, and you just need to use your finger to change these straps.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the deep dive. I know we had to race through the watches, but we've had 8 timepieces to get through. You know the drill. Tomorrow we have more to surprise our audience. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Well, there you have it. That's your morning wrap up of day 4 of Watches and Wonders. And of course, don't miss our late show that's coming at 4:30 p.m. where we dive into the major trends of the watch fair. Now, what we have to mention is that today is a very special day because Watches and Wonders is taking over the heart of Geneva with special activities planned. So make sure to bring your friends and family. As I understand, there's going to be concerts, food trucks, performances, conferences. So make sure to head into the city tonight from 5 to 9 p.m. or stay longer if you wish. Have a wonderful rest of the day. I'm Olivia Kinghorst. I'll see you here nice and early tomorrow morning.